Welcome to 50 Plus in Montgomery County, a monthly program that is a voice for many produced by the Commission on Aging. This show is insightful for people of all ages, and each episode takes a fresh look at important issues by spotlighting older adults in the community, representatives of services and programs, and activities of interest to older adults. My name is Katie. On this month's show, we're going to talk about adopting pets. Here to have that conversation with me is Maria Anselmo. Maria is the Community Relations Manager for the Montgomery County Animal Services and Adoption Center in the Montgomery County Office of Animal Services. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm great. Very happy to be here.
I'm excited you're here too. Well, Maria, for those of us that may not be familiar, can you give us a quick overview of the Montgomery County Animal Adoption Center and your role as the Community Relations Manager?
Absolutely. So Montgomery County Animal Services and Adoption Center is the county's only open admissions shelter. We take animals from all over the county.
Okay.
We bring in animals that are lost, or owner surrenders for people who can no longer care for their pets. We also serve as the animal control for the county, investigating cruelty complaints, bites, attacks, and rabies control. So we have officers on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And then we, of course, have our wonderful adoption center where we are looking for homes for new pets all of the time.
Wow. It's the month of December. It's a special time of the year for many people celebrating various holidays. But as we think about, pets, why is it a good time to talk about adoption?
I mean, it's always a great time to talk about adoption in my book. But, this is a wonderful time as we approach the new year, think about new beginnings. It's a very cozy time of year, so there's so much joy, and what's more joyful than having a new family member that you've brought in?
That's right. What are the benefits for older adults adopting older pets?
I mean, one of the biggest things is companionship. So pets they're obviously wonderful, wonderful companions, and they are there for you. They are home all of the time. They are full of just unconditional love for, their owners. So there's so much bonding. They're great for, especially like with dogs, making sure you get exercise and you don't just turn into a bum on the couch, although they will generally also hang out with you on the couch if you'd like. But they're just so wonderful for both mental health, emotional health, and well-being overall.
Okay, so those are the benefits. What if someone is hesitant about adoption or about that process? What would you?
So one option is, if you're feeling a little hesitant, but you're really interested in possibly having a companion animal with you, is to foster. So we have a foster program which allows people to bring an animal home with them. These are generally our dogs, cats, but also our small animals.
Okay.
And it's like all of the benefits to owning a pet without any of the bills. So we provide all of the basic supplies. All of the vet care is done through the county as well. The one thing is that if somebody's interested in adopting your foster pet, you do need to give it up. If you don't want to give it up, though, we're totally okay with you deciding to adopt. So we won't kick you out of adopting. We do allow our fosters to adopt their foster animals.
So Maria, in terms of resources, that means you'll provide, the food for my pet, the pet that I'm fostering, like all those types of benefits?
Yeah, so food, we have a lot of people that will come and foster and they don't have any sort of supplies because they don't have any pets. So that means, we're providing things like bowls and your leash, collar, harness, your poop bags if it's a dog, if it's cats, the litter boxes, the litter, all of those basic supplies. Now, if somebody wants to get their foster animal something a little special, then that's sort of on them. But all of the basic supplies, all we're asking from people is that they open a space in their home and also send us some information and, of course, photos.
I was just getting ready to ask, how do you verify that someone is eligible to become a foster parent?
Well, we do have an application process, but one of our things is we do make it easy for people to sign up. Because most people that are coming forward both to adopt and to foster are doing this from a place of good. And we believe that most people are good, and those people who are stepping up to help us are going to be people who really care about animals. So we aren't here to make people jump through lots and lots of boundaries. we don't want these barriers to be there.
Right.
So a lot of it is just conversation based. We do have an application process. We go over, tips, tricks, and then we have resources for if somebody is struggling. We have behavior staff that will answer questions and help guidance if there's some, sticky things happening that people aren't sure what to do with. But really, we know people that are coming to us have a good heart. They're coming from a good place. We're there to support them, just as they're supporting us by taking an animal into their home.
I like that. So if I had no experience with pets at all, you would provide training for me?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, because it's the same with adopters, that we have adopters who come in that don't have any sort of experience. What we're not going to do is throw you with a really difficult animal to start.
Okay.
So we will think about matching you with an appropriate animal, whether you're interested in dogs or cats. We're not going to give you, if you're a brand new foster, never had a pet before, a dog who is maybe a little bit bouncing off the walls and maybe gets a little bit nippy when they're excited, because dogs do tend to explore with their mouths.
Oh, yes.
We're going to give you something that may be a little bit easier, that we know some information on, maybe is a little bit on the calmer side. So we have some people who have lots and lots of experience with animals, and they're willing to take on harder projects.
That's interesting. You mentioned dogs and cats. Are there any other types of animals that you allow people to foster?
Absolutely. So we have several, like rabbits in foster right now. We do foster out guinea pigs. Very much depends on what animals we have. So we certainly have had birds in foster care and reptiles in foster care. The most common of, what we call sort of more the exotic pets do tend to be rabbits and guinea pigs, but they certainly spend time in foster care when we have available fosters for them.
Okay, and again, you're, getting the animals from people who can no longer house them, or you found them in Montgomery County?
Yes, so sometimes they're lost pets, and we hope to reunite them with their owners, but we don't always manage to do that, and so then they will become available for adoption. The other place that we do have animals come in from is cruelty investigations or seizures. So we may seize animals as part of an investigation, so some of our animals do come there. We do sometimes have those in foster care as well, because many times those may be a very long stay where they're not available for adoption, so they can't move through the system. And rather than keep them in cages for what could be months and months going through court processes, we'll send them to a foster home.
Okay. Maria, what if someone wants to take the easy way out? So I have a family dog, two actually, one named Max, one named Rico. And I like to see them temporarily. When I'm around them, I'm excited, and I'm like, all right, bye, going back to, my place. They're actually in Colorado now. But for the person who might say, I can't foster permanently, they're taking that easy way out, what other options are for them to volunteer through you?
Absolutely. So we do have a very robust volunteer program. We have volunteers who work with all of our different animals. We do require that people have the ability physically to handle those animals. So we do have some physical limitations. We call it our essential capabilities, that to work with the animals people must meet, and they are available on our website so that you can review them before trying to sign up to volunteer. But we have volunteers 365 days a year. They're in there on holidays. They're out there walking dogs in the freezing cold, in the snow. They're trekking in to help us take care of the cats and the small animals. It's fantastic. It's a really great program. It's a great place to also make some friends and sort of volunteer together.
Okay, maybe I want to retract what I said about easy way out then. All volunteering is important.
It is not the easiest of ways out. It is a little bit less of a time commitment because you don't have an animal in your home 24 hours a day. So you do get to come in for just a couple hours. Most of our volunteer shifts are about 2 hours long. Some people stay far past that 2-hour shift, and we certainly won't kick them out. They are welcome to stay longer than the 2 hours, but our shifts are divided up into 2 hours. So people come in, get their animal fix for 2 hours, and then go home to their clean, quiet house.
Okay, Maria. So we're talking about volunteering and the ways that people can do it. We're talking about giving their time. If they're not able to give their time, can they donate resources?
Absolutely. So we take in donations of all sorts of things. Of course, you've got like your normal dog supplies and cat supplies. So your unopened bags of food, which we actually use for our pet food pantry to support owners who are struggling to feed their pets. But of course, toys for all types of animals, because they do get some rough play in there sometimes. So we do go through those toys pretty quickly.
Okay.
Another thing is if you're cleaning out your house and you've got some old towels, we go through towels a lot. We love towels.
Okay.
So you don't need to bring us new towels. Don't spend that money. Give us your old towels, buy yourself some new ones. We also use blankets and comforters. Those are some of our biggest donation things. But then again, also the, just different supplies, treats, toys, leashes, collars, all those things.
Maria, who are your partners in the county, especially for like those volunteer drives that happen? Who do you partner with to get those type of things done?
Well, a lot of times people reach out to us. So there's a couple of the police stations that do big drives a couple times a year, and different community groups that'll reach out to us and say, hey, we want to do this, toy drive. We actually get youth volunteers who, although we don't allow youth volunteering within the shelter, they will do sort of do-it-yourself. They'll make crafts. So we do on our website have a list of some DIY toys that people can make. So a lot of it's people in the community who actually just reach out directly to us and say, hey, we want to do this thing with our club, with our neighborhood group, any of those.
What are some other ways that people can support the center?
Talking about us. That is the easiest and the cheapest way to do it. So if you're on social media, follow us on social media, share our posts. It's easy, free. Tell your friends. Interact with our posts because that also gets them seen more. So that's the easiest free way to help. We also accept donations. Financial donations can be made online or in person at the shelter. So that is yet another way to help. But really, you don't have a lot of time, you're not sure resource-wise, share our information or just word of mouth talk to people about what they can do.
Got it. Do you have any anecdotal stories that you could share with us about maybe an individual, an older adult fostering, or just someone who's worked with your organization?
I mean, I will definitely say a lot of our volunteers are over the age of 50. A lot of them are retired, so they've got this flexibility. We have some of them that they are practically in there as if it's their job. I mean, we're talking they are on time every day, Monday through Friday. It's really incredible. But these are people who are retired. A lot of our core volunteers that are really they're retired because they have that free time. They want to do something good for their community and they love animals. So just a whole bunch of our volunteers that, and they're so much fun. I love them. I spend a lot of time with them too. But then we do have fosters that are older adults who are, they're home more. Some of them have really quiet households, so they may take in like a shyer cat who needs that sort of quiet time, not a lot of like rambunctious children about. So, their kids have grown up, they've moved out, they've got a nice quiet home for an animal who may need just a quieter atmosphere. So, really we've seen all different types of things from fosters to adopters to our volunteers.
What types of improvements have you seen with the pets, even when they're in foster care and then when they move out to maybe a permanent home? What sort of improvements have been tracked there?
So
for them?
One of the things is many of the animals that come into our care we don't have history on. So all of those animals that were lost and not reclaimed by owners, we don't have any real information. So we are, if they've never been in a foster home, taking our best guesses on what they're going to be like outside of the shelter. And the shelter, as much as we try and make it a nice, fun, relaxing place, is not a home. So they can be wildly different. And I do tell people, give these animals time to settle when you do take them home. And don't be scared off by a dog who might look like a maniac in the kennel. They may be jumping and barking and look kind of scary. And then you take them out of that kennel or out of the environment and they get a chance to relax, they sleep, they get to play, and they're not nearly so cooped up and frustrated. So never judge one of these animals by their behavior in the shelter because it's often wildly different once they're in a home environment. So when we have animals in foster, we get to learn all of those things about them. We get to learn how they do on walks out in a neighborhood when they see other pets, how they do they sleep through the night, how's their house training, are they going to chew on somebody's shoes, and gather all of those like little bits of information that can help us prepare their adopter, like, okay, make sure that you put your shoes away with this dog, or you are going to need to work on house training. They've been working on it in their foster home, but we also, with our fosters, they'll start working on training, so those dogs will also learn more. Cats get a chance to decompress and just relax and come out of their shells. So we see cats who were hissy and scared in the shelter spend time in foster, and then they're lap cats. They're out and about, having fun, having a good time. So those animals in foster, we just get so much more information to help us find them the next home.
Wow. So the foster parent is tracking that information for you all, or the behavioral health person you said might come out?
So we reach out to our foster homes and ask them how things are going. We do have a form we'll have them fill out that sort of collects some of that basic information. We love the more information we have, the better. So we will regularly check in. It's also great if somebody just reaches out directly to us of our fosters, because we do tend to have a lot of animals in foster homes. But the other thing is that when people reach out who are interested in adopting an animal in foster, we have them speak directly to the foster. And that also gives them a chance to really learn more about what it will be like bringing that animal into their own home. Because the foster is going to be the one best equipped to tell you how to make this successful, because they've already succeeded in integrating this animal into their household. So a lot of our information, that we get from these pets, even ones that we had some information on as owner surrenders, we can just get so much more from our foster homes.
Yeah. All right, Maria, I told you I have 2 family pets, Max and Rico. What about you? Do you own pets?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have 2 dogs, and I foster. So I am one of the fosters for Montgomery County. Awesome. I take on those more difficult animals. So it's your troublesome creatures. So right now I do have a foster dog. I have fostered probably over the past 4 years close to 30 different dogs. Many of which really, really struggled in the shelter environment, some of which were ones that we were unsure whether or not they would be safe to adopt out because of their behavior in the shelter. And, bringing those animals home and seeing just this change is so rewarding. And I mean, I tell people one of my tricks to not adopting fosters is that I always take something that's slightly annoying, because then I have all of these fond memories of all these quirky things that dog did, but when they leave my house, I am so relieved that I'm like, thank goodness the dog has left, but I get to like look back and be like, oh, don't you remember Noodle and these stupid things he used to do, or remember Bruce and that time he chewed my Kindle? I loved Bruce. So we have these fun memories, but I'm also really grateful that they are no longer in my house.
Well, Maria, I know that you brought a special guest with you today, and when we come back, we'll bring that guest out.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls: 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Welcome back. Joining me is our special guest, Precious. Hi, Precious. Hi, girl. Maria, tell us a little bit about Precious.
Well, Precious is one of our charming senior pets. This girl is 13 years old.
Wow.
But she is such a joy and has so much enthusiasm still for life. She's a little bit wiggly. She's like, why am I in your lap right now? She is polite enough not to have leapt into my lap. She needed help.
Wow. So how long has Precious been with your center?
So Precious has actually been with us for a while because she had a lot of medical going on and actually came into the shelter emaciated.
Okay.
Thank you, baby. So she was skin and bones when she came in.
Wow.
And we just needed to get some weight on her.
Okay.
She also had like zero fur.
Yes.
She does have allergies, so she's
Okay.
on a prescription diet
Okay.
to help
Okay.
with her skin. So her
Okay.
her fur has done a great job growing back.
Okay. Okay. Look at her. She's ready to explore.
She's like, can we go sniff things? But Precious is now available for adoption.
Okay.
She's
okay.
13. She's spayed.
Wow.
She loves other dogs, so she actually comes and hangs out in our play groups at the shelter.
Yes.
And rather than a dog who just sort of sleeps all day, she might be 13,
But she's active.
but she's still
She's
plenty active.
Very active.
Yeah.
Very, very active.
We know, baby.
You know, Maria, you shared a lot of great information with us today. How can we stay in contact, with you and get connected?
Definitely our social media. Hi, baby. I love
Precious,
this dog.
do you want to get down?
She says, I don't know what I'm doing up here. She wants to go look at herself in the mirror some more.
I like that for you.
But following us on social media is the best way to, keep in touch with what's going on at the shelter.
Yes.
When we have adoption events.
Yes.
It's also where you can find more information on fostering, volunteering, and things you can donate.
Again, you've shared a lot of great information. What is something else that you would like to say in terms of how people can really make an impact on helping the animals at your shelter?
So one of the biggest things to do is actually not the animals in our shelter, but right now so many people are struggling with affording their own pets, feeding them, that one of the things we're really working on is trying to keep pets in their homes.
Yeah.
And sometimes people just need a little bit of help. So
Yes,
I
yes.
say, you check on your neighbors, check
Yes.
on your friends. You can
Yes.
get down, girl. She's like, what's happening? But, talk to your neighbors, talk
Yeah.
to your friends,
Yeah.
make sure that they're okay, and see if they need help, because they might be too scared to ask. And that's one of, the biggest ways you can help the animals in our shelter is by helping to keep more from coming in.
I really enjoyed this conversation. Maria, this is probably one of my favorite shows. This is the first time we've had a pet on the set.
Well, happy to bring Precious along. She might not be a lap
Anytime.
dog, but I think she's had fun anyways.
Precious, you're welcome back anytime. Well, that concludes our program for today. As you can see, the voices of those 50 plus matter every day and in every way. To learn more about services for seniors in Montgomery County, please visit the Montgomery County Seniors website by visiting montgomerycountymd.gov/senior or call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000. And as always, thank you for watching 50 Plus in Montgomery County. Thank you, Precious.